Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! The Movie, or Yu-Gi-Oh! Pyramid of Light. Okay, let me just
The first
quickly... well, technically, Dwebs, there was one that came even before this in Japan, like the one that we commented
Season
on.
zero, yeah.
But yeah,
the first one that's known outside of Japan.
Official, yeah.
yeah. Basically, the first feature-length one. Let's go with that. Yeah, this movie actually originally came out back in 2004 in America and it was just called Yu-Gi-Oh! The Movie. However, over the course of the years, people usually now, that's the official name for it, but fans usually call it Yu-Gi-Oh! The Pyramid of Light, for the sake of convenience. And this movie actually came out in theaters in America. I don't know about the rest of the world, but believe it or not, when this movie first came out, it came out during Yu-Gi-Oh's peak of popularity, and it actually premiered in the 4th spot of the top 10 box office in America. So yeah, this movie was actually quite the hit.
Although it's got an absolutely dismal reviews. Out of 66 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, it's only got a 5%.
And it
Which
deserves
is
it.
really weird. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, well, this movie has a lot of stupid points, but that bad?
Well, Joe, you have to remember, critics were going into this knowing nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyone who doesn't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh! is just gonna be completely lost in it. I mean, come on. I mean, it's not like this is the Yokai Watch movie or anything. Anyway, let's
start before the Warner Bros. Logo. Apparently, they distributed.
Yeah. All right, 3, 2, 1, click. Anyway, what I was saying.
Bit random that you brought up the Yokai Watch movie.
Well, it's because Yokai Watch is one that does it much better in terms of, making it easier for newcomers to get into it than this one does. That's basically what I'm saying.
I don't think it was really that hard for newcomers to get into this. I think the problem was more so just the plot structure itself.
Also, in case you're wondering where this movie takes place in continuity-wise, is between season 3 and 4, aka after Marik Ishtar's defeat, but before the Orichalco's season.
Don't get me wrong. Oh, this is we already know this backstory, so. But, okay, so...
What was that and alienating the non-fans of the series?
True. Might as well let them listen, seeing as how this actually does explain stuff for the series.
Although I had to say, this drawing is a bit worse when it actually appears in the series.
Well, remember, Teo, this movie was actually made by 4Kids themselves. It was actually animated by them and everything.
I didn't know that.
I thought they just paid the animation studio to do it.
Did they?
I think that's how it works. They used their money. They paid the animation studio who makes the series. I think that's how it goes.
But the animation in this movie looks quite different from the series.
Not too different. Not too different, I guess. I don't know.
It's actually better than the animation in the series, for one.
Huh.
Anyway, what I was saying was, I mean, let's face it.
Oh wait, hold on. They're giving more introduction for non-fans of the series.
Well, Joe, they could always just mute the commentary if they want to catch something.
That's also.
That's one thing I don't know, though. They presented like that black spirit that apparently conditioned Yugi into constructing the puzzle.
Yeah, there's that as well. This was never mentioned in the series itself. This is just 4Kids making shit up.
Or is it 4Kids being more informative, or is it just something that's kept to this movie?
Or something they pulled out.
No, the anime and Kazuki Takahashi never even acknowledged this movie. As far as Kazuki Takahashi is concerned, this movie doesn't matter because he had nothing to do with this.
Oh, I know about that. I was just wondering if this might have something to do with the series, but no. Turns out they're just referencing something that has to do with the direct plot point of this movie.
This is more like this is more of a what if scenario, if anything else.
So basically, 4Kids have made an Elseworld story.
Basically, that's basically what this is.
Basically, it still has a place technically in the continuity, but it's not technically canon.
And like LittleKuriboh said very well in his abridged parody, this movie when you get right onto it, this movie is nothing but pointless bickering. Anyway, but then.
Anyway, boy,
I'm green.
Well, Taylor, let's face it. Would you really want anyone else voicing Yugi in English?
Well, in English, sure. The thing is, I didn't grow up with Dan Green, so I'm not have that connection just like you guys.
Okay.
Oh god, this movie's nearly 90 minutes.
Remember, Pedro, the Italian voice actor for Yugi has a voice that's much closer to the Japanese one.
Yeah, I understand that.
Because my country is such made weeaboos.
Well, so yeah, turns out while Yugi was putting the puzzle together, Anubis, the Egyptian lord of the dead, for those who don't know, also woke up at the same time, sorts. And here's an interesting thing:
And you blew a hole in your grandpa's house.
the pyramid lights is the yang to the Millennium Puzzle's yin of sorts.
So it's like the Dark Triforce in A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah. And I didn't particularly care for the introduction of that element in Like Between Worlds, but sure.
Oh,
Run! Everything's falling
run
apart.
away! Run away!
But yeah, like I was saying, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still really like this movie in terms of, you know, it has a lot of riffability and it's, of course, nostalgic for all of us Yu-Gi-Oh fans. However, let's face it, when you actually put out your nostalgia goggles aside, this movie is pretty crap when you get right down to it. Like, when you judge it compared to proper animated films.
Or the better Yu-Gi-Oh movie that got released recently.
Who the fuck are these two guys?
We'll get to that. I don't want to go into a tangent about that movie.
I love the poster for this movie. Everything else was just practice. Can this be the final duel?
Oh god, yes! Oh my god, the trailer. You guys, Teo. After this is over, go check out the trailer for this movie. The trailer for this movie is so cheesy in how hype it's trying to get you that it's amazing.
Find out only in theaters.
Until you are complete again!
Oh, yeah, that was about to reference that.
Hell, it didn't even make all that much money at the box office. It only made like nearly just under 30 million compared to its $20 million budget.
Well, for a movie like this, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure 4Kids didn't expect this movie to be like a gigantic blockbuster or anything.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta remember there's a difference in scale. I mean, now with, say, big AAA feature films like the usual Pixar film, yeah, you expect the usual budget.
Based on anime, you know.
There you go, Pyramid of Light, that's the movie's subtitle. Even though the movie's subtitle doesn't actually show up in the posters and stuff like in the cover of the DVD or anything like that, so it's kind of weird.
Why people had footage of Yugi's first duel with Kaiba?
Naturally, that's the Battle City duel, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, this movie takes place right after...
Yeah, this one is, but the first movie clip they show, was Yugi defeating the free Blue Eyes White Dragon with Exodia. Hi, Marek.
I guess I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we were literally showing the anime right there, and this movie takes place right after the Battle City tournament.
Also, Rex and Weevil cameo, yay!
So yeah, wait, this little Pipsqueak is the new world champion? Are you kidding me?
Boy, can't wait for GX where pretty much every...
Why is everyone in the dueling community looked out so hard on the smaller people? This dueling.
Yeah, I know.
It's a children's card game, not professional wrestling.
Not just that.
It's
like that, Dweeb. Size don't really matter when you are a duelist. If you just
size doesn't matter.
Yeah, you just need to have a competent back.
But yeah, like Dweeb said, yeah, but that's basically one of my problems I have with Yu-Gi-Oh in general. Dweeb, most of the non-main character duelists are assholes.
Which is another thing I appreciate for GX actually fixing. And again, GX is pretty much, say, the Sonic 2 to Yu-Gi-Oh! Sonic 1.
Polymerization.
Yeah,
the only thing I really know...
I can tell we're watching the PAL version because of the increased pitch.
What the fuck's Kaiba?
Wait, the holograms, shouldn't he be falling through them?
Actually, in this particular case...
Yeah.
Well, actually, Teo, in this particular case, it's actually legit because of a specific. Let's just say, just wait till the scene is over, and you'll see what I mean.
It's a dream, isn't it?
No, it's probably Kaiba masturbating again in his VR or something.
Nope. Oh wait, yeah.
It kinda does that in every season movie, even in the new one, it does that.
Yeah. Apparently, that's that duel he has against Yamayugi was apparently executive mandated, so...
well, that explains so much, but again, I'm not gonna go into a tangent about that. Moving on.
Wait, infinite attack?
Well, remember, Dwebs,
What kind of duel is this?
that's Obelisk's special ability.
But he's got infinite.
Well, Don Green's an awesomeness. It's the thing! I love it. That will never get old. That's one of the big problems I had with don't worry, I'm not going to go into a tangent about this. One of the big disappointments with the new movie was how Don Green never really got to speak as the Pharaoh in that movie, because that was such a wasted opportunity.
Well, it's not his fault, but due to how the story.
I know. I'm not blaming Don. I'm not blaming Dan. I'm blaming the movie itself.
Once again, Seto is endangering the lives of his scientists.
It seems your ego was too large for the computer to simulate, sir.
What a digital dummy! Sam Riegel?
Wait. A winning stratagem? Don't you mean a winning strategy?
The stratagem is a word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never heard that word.
It
Really?
actually is
It
a
is
real
a
word,
word.
Pedro.
Weird. Okay.
It's fancy
Whatever.
talk.
By the way, you're all fired.
Of course.
I must find a way to somehow.
So, Kaiba, you're still a fucking psychopath.
Not just that,
What?
Kaiba. Like LittleKuriboh keeps saying, you really need to get laid, you know.
Meanwhile, at
Oh, goody, Pegasus.
Legend says to this day he is still in that bed.
Is he naked?
Yes.
Oh, an extra card.
Even though I didn't like the recent movie that came out, I feel like the movie was trying to be about something. My problem with this movie is that this movie is such a big waste of nothing. This movie isn't even trying to have any kind of moral or theme.
I was gonna say how long we're like 10 minutes in. I don't know what's going on. Does this one even have a plot?
Well, remember, Dwebs, this was written by four kids writers.
Apparently it's going somewhere now, because something is altering the Egyptian god cards.
Yeah, I mean, at least the new movie had a plot.
Oh, they got trapped inside the... So, yeah, Reshef of Destruction was kinda doing this plot.
How about that?
Wait, Pegasus is a different voice now?
No, it's the same.
Remember, we're watching the PAL version, so...
What difference would that make?
It's a higher pitch. I guess.
pitch.
But see, the thing is, Jova, when the problem back in the day when DVDs were young, and I think it's still somewhat done to some point, is that for some reason DVDs here in Europe have higher pitches. I don't know why. It's
That's
weird.
So not only we had a shittier frame rate when it came to video games, but we also had high pitch and stuff.
It's Europe got fucked over a lot in technology back in the day.
Okay, that animation of Grandpa was bad.
I caught a behind the scenes gag. It says photo by Norman Grossfeld. The guy's actually one of the writers of this movie.
Okay, well, to answer your question, Dwebs.
Bet you thought you could slip that one by me, hey? Well, you didn't.
To answer your question, Dwebs, well, remember, the new movie was actually made by Kazuka Takahashi as he wanted to make something special for the 10th anniversary and shit. Whereas this movie was made by four kids with the entire purpose of making money off the incredibly popular thing that was going on at the time.
Oh, goody, the Blue Eyes White Dragon Jet.
To quote LittleKuriboh from the abridged parody, I think LittleKuriboh put it best. It feels like this was just a big, expensive commercial for new cards. Yep,
Or
that's
toys.
Yeah. Oh, okay. One thing I'll give this movie: the soundtrack is actually pretty awesome, specifically the songs. Kaiba's theme is amazing. Just listen to this.
Okay, did Discount Sum 41 do this theme?
Yeah, or Discount Crush 40.
I don't say.
Why is it like that? Just because it's Kaiba. Shut the fuck.
You know. That's one thing I'll give
This
for.
is so cheesy and yet so awesome.
You know. I'll give 4Kids this. With their Yu-Gi-Oh shows, they definitely had pretty great music for the dubs. Yu-Gi-Oh GX especially.
Okay, while this is going on,
I also really like the main theme, one card short. That's actually pretty good as well.
I was
What is it, Webs?
Anyway, I was just gonna say, while this is going on, this movie, Bob, did have a couple of unwanted records. On Rotten Tomatoes, it was the lowest rated animated film on Metacritic. Sorry, not Rotten. I'll get to that in a bit. On Metacritic, it was the lowest rated animated film on the site until the Emoji Movie came out. And as for Rotten Tomatoes, this is the second lowest rated animated film of the 2000s. But surprisingly, it didn't come behind the Emoji Movie. It actually came behind Happily and Ever After.
One thing people have to remember.
If you don't know, Happily and Ever After is a worse version of Hoodwinked before Hoodwinked 2 came out.
Really? I always thought that it was just a poor man's Shrek, honestly.
Which one, sorry?
Happily Never
Poor Man's
After.
Hoodwinked, which was a poor man's Shrek.
But Hoodwinked was actually kind of good.
I'd like to mention also that one thing people have to remember is that, I mean, remember, this movie was released back in the golden age of Pixar. I mean, this came out in the same year as The Incredibles, for crying out loud. So obviously, when with movies like Incredibles coming on at the same year, obviously this movie fell short with the other animated films at the time. So it's not like it's entirely unjust. I mean, this movie, when you get in terms of being an animated film.
Oh, wait, hold on. One cool thing though. You may remember how in the anime there's writing on the cards. Well, here for the first time ever we see writing on the cards in English. Why?
Yeah.
Because of copyright deal stuff. Apparently for the movie they were actually allowed to do the writing here, also to sort of help keep the copyright deal in check.
Yeah, we actually get to see the actual proper cards from the actual real card game in this movie, and that's pretty cool.
Oh, goody.
I'll give it that.
Yugi and his friends pretending to do school again.
Oh, they're leaving the school, so...
Why do you even bother coming to school if you never do any actual schoolwork?
Ugh.
Get it? Haha.
Is this Toll's running gag? Yugi small. Ha 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 ha.
Well, remember, Dwebs, this is for kids' humor, so...
Basically, everyone's ganging up on him because they want a piece of that Egyptian god card action.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aiuto.
With the power of friendship, I will save you.
It's like one of those things. Okay, don't. It's one of those things.
About it.
For kids, should have. Okay, here's the thing. When Richard Mark Honeywood decided to make Drippy and the Fairies Welsh, it was to mirror the Osaka accent from the original Japanese version of Ni no Kuni. You know, in here they just decided to give Joey the Brooklyn accent just because it's funny, I guess. I don't know.
Pedro, it's the same. It's the same in Rogue Galaxy. The character of Simon had a Kansai accent, and in the translation, he has a Scottish accent.
And remember, Pedro, 4Kids was based in New York.
Jova, do you know? And does anybody here know if the original voice of Joey had some kind of Japanese accent that was meant to be funny or something? I can understand the decision if that was the case, but I don't know. So
he might have, but honestly, Joey having a Brooklyn accent never really bugged me as much because, you know, they haven't really established what country this takes place in. So, hey, for all we know, maybe this is American localization and it's in New York.
It's card games country.
I mean, how? Well, Jova, near the end of the
fan service.
Near the end of the recent movie, it shows someone flying to New York, so...
And now Joey gets annually raped in the end. There you go. You know, for kids.
Not just that. That card, I still don't understand why people use it. Yeah, it's a high risk, high reward, but it's never worth it.
Okay,
Sludge regurgitation. Yeah, that's how this movie was made. It was regurgitated by corporate suits to make money.
They reminder that Joey was literally about to win against evil Marek, but he lost because it was a shadow duel or something.
He lost his strength, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is all well and good, but to Pedro.
Yes.
Where's the plot?
That's the thing, Dwebs. There's no real plot up until the 20-minute mark or something. Don't worry, they're gonna establish the plot in a moment. Right after this. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about.
Congratulations, Joe, you just defeated a small child.
This is the kind of movie where the plot was pretty much an afterthought, basically. Much like movies like at the original Cut of Advent Children or the TMNT 2007 movie, stuff like that.
Well, but you know, it's a different case because it was supposedly originally a short movie, but then it got stretched more and more with development. Yugi, you should technically denounce them for stalking or something, like getting an escort, whatever.
We'll get the police involved.
Remember, Teo, the only crime in this... remember, Teo, there is no such thing as crime in Dominus. Remember, Pegasus kidnapped Yugi's grandpa and he got off scot-free. So apparently there's no crimes in this world, apparently.
Well, except cheating.
Well, I guess, to be fair, there was no evidence to suggest that he
Pegasus
kidnapped his
versus
grandpa, because technically his grandpa was still physically there, and that would have been really tough to explain to the authorities
you're
about.
Using once again your Toon deck.
Yes, he's still using his Toon deck.
Why?
Sorry, Teo.
Because they can attack directly.
I suppose, but honestly, the only good card I think, but I don't even know if there is at this point, is a Tool Machine Gun Dragon.
Alright, let me actually try to explain basics of what's going on for the sake of Dwebs. Basically, Kaiba really wants to defeat Yugi really bad. So he decided to ask Pegasus because, well, he created the fucking game, so if anyone knows how to defeat Yugi, it would be him, right? And Pegasus said, well, I might have a card that can help you. And for the record, that card is Blue Eyes Shining Dragon. Please buy. And they're dueling, and if Kaiba wins, he gets to keep the Blue Eyes Shining Dragon. Which makes no sense, because why would Pegasus have Blue Eyes Shining Dragon if that card is completely useless in his deck? For those who don't know, the only way to summon the Blue Eyes Shining Dragon is to sacrifice the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which only Kaiba can do. So why would... Like, it's... I guess he's keeping it to sell it on eBay or something. I don't know.
Is the stake in this duel that card or something?
Yes, that card. The Blue Eye Shining. They're dueling for the Blue Eye Shining Dragon card, which is the only card that can possibly defeat the gods, basically, aka the Egyptian god card. Oh great, Toon Dark Magician Girl.
Can you please stop having close-ups?
They're holograms, Kai, but they don't have physical presence.
Yeah,
Why are you acting like...
honestly, the animation is a cause that didn't miss, because a lot of shots are better drawn, but others are so ugly to look at.
I like the coloring scheme better than what the... Well, I don't really like the coloring of the series. It looks a bit drab. The problem is that the animation is quite sloppy. Well, gotta give it some credit because his actor clearly is having fun.
Yeah, well, he's always having fun. I mean, hell, you could... It was like when Eric Stewart came back to voice Kaiba in the recent film.
And there's no cost for that?
And not every trap card has a cost for that.
Screw the rules. I'm Seto Kaiba.
Okay, is that card at the very least limited? Because free cards...
which one? I forgot.
Attack Guidance Armor. It basically literally allows you to direct an enemy's attack towards one of your enemy's monsters at no cost whatsoever.
I think there was another card that had the same effect, but I forgot what it's called. It's like I forgot. There was, I think, just thinking there was another card that did have the same effect, but was different.
Monster Reborn.
Of course.
So that was pointless then.
And of course, no one, aside from that one occasion with Joey possessed by Merrick, no one ever uses Regeki for anything.
Well, obviously that wasn't pointless, dudes, because that helped save Kaiba from losing the match.
But he just destroyed the figure. They have a
Okay,
brick
okay, okay.
Because, Dweebs, they were about to attack him directly and reduce all his life points.
Dwebs, to quote LittleKuriboh again, blah blah, card games blah, blah blah blah, attack mode blah, blah blah blah, blah. There you go. That's basically what's happened.
Basically, Dweebs, objection.
I'll object you in a minute. In fact, that should be a retort in a future Ace Attorney game. Whenever the prosecutor gets fed up with Phoenix always saying objection, they should respond, if you don't stop interrupting me, I'll object to you.
Yeah, see, this is like Dwebs was bringing up earlier. This is exactly why the movie was critically panned. We're 23 minutes in, and there's still no plot to speak of. I mean, even by Yu-Gi-Oh movie standards, this is sloppy. I mean, come on, guys. At the very least, introduce what the movie's about before you get into the card games. Not only that, Joe, but one thing we also have to remember is that...
Why are you talking to me?
No. Well, you brought up the thing earlier. Don't worry, I'm going somewhere with this. Earlier in the movie started, and they started talking about the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians who played the game of terrible power, and blah blah blah. Let's face it. Probably when when the critics were watching this, and then we got to this part in the card games. Wait, what does this have to do with that Egyptian backstory that we were told in the beginning of the film? See, it's kind of hard for non-fans to follow what's going on because the movie kind of rushes through this backstory a bit.
I wouldn't say it rushes through it, but it definitely does ask for your attention.
It's like one of those animated movies with a fuck ton of musicals where the script you get the feeling that the script was like, oh, song goes here. In this case, duel goes here.
This guy came
Now
out.
that's a better description of it, Theo.
This movie came out in summer 2004, the same summer that Incredibles came out. So obviously, this movie kind of paled in comparison with that.
Hell. There's plenty more competition than just that. The Prisoner of Azkaban came out around this time.
Well, I'm talking specifically animated films, but yeah, sure.
And you had to sandwich this with The Incredibles and Harry Potter, and that probably got slaughtered at the box office.
Nah, it did relatively well at the box office, all things considered.
Yeah. For a movie of this particular nature, that's fine. Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Kaiba don't.
Wait, 2 cards? But there was only 1.
On the one hand,
No,
Pegasus...
I'm telling you the truth for once, please.
He actually is. But, well, remember, we saw in the scene Anubis.
That's what I was saying.
Anubis put the card in there. Alright, there you go, Dubs. Now we're about to actually finally explain what the fuck is going on.
Hey guys, Yuki's in the museum. Get him!
Shut up, Dubs. You have to learn something.
Yeah. I wish I was watching The Mummy with Brandon Fraser.
Well, this was 2004, so we had The Mummy and Mummy Returns and The Scorpion King.
Debatable.
Yeah, even Hitler thought about that. Do something like that.
We're comparing Grandpa Yuki to Hitler.
By the way, well, actually, never mind.
The Dragon of Griffin and something else.
Never mind.
Dagger of Fate.
The Dagger of Fate. Well, yeah.
It's even more cheesy than the Sword of Truth from Sleeping Beauty.
It pretty much serves as just as an excuse for more card games, basically.
Not just that.
The movie doesn't really go in any
not just that,
depth
Pedro.
about this.
Gee golly, they mentioned this dagger of whatever. I surely don't hope it will be reincorporated in the future.
Not just that, but the movie doesn't really even go to any. Oh, that's right. I forgot about this. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the movie's big-lipped alligator moment.
We're in space.
It's Yu-Gi-Oh! In
What?
space!
What the
Just wait till Zexel actually capitalizes on that.
Well,
Oh.
Well,
Well.
that was a thing.
that was a thing, yeah. All right, Point for one funny line.
Yeah, that's just a concussion talking, man.
Damn.
And we're not
that
going.
pyramid.
Surprisingly, they don't assume that these three did it. I mean, usually in these kinds of films, that kind of thing happens. But okay, like
Let's see.
They knocked that pyramid thing down. Yeah, the security guards don't know what they're guarding.
according to legend, blah 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 blah.
As you know.
So basically, everybody, the plot of this movie is some kind of evil Egyptian lore. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Some kind of ancient evil is now back and wants to destroy the world, and we must defeat it using a children's card game. Basically, every single Yu-Gi-Oh plot ever made. Yeah. Spoiler alert. What Mokoba just said, the whole, Seto never doesn't act as usual, that peters out and never goes anywhere. The movie pretty much forgets about that line that Mokoba just said right after.
So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure they go somewhere with it by the time of the climax.
Not
when we
really,
get the
I mean-
big revelation.
Not really. From this point onward, Mokoba is only here for the sake of being a cheerleader for Kaiba.
I wasn't talking about Mokuba himself. I was talking about the line he uttered about Kaiba acting weird.
Well, what I mean is, okay, the way they had Mokuba deliver that line, like, it kind of feel like, he's a bit frustrated about what Seto is going through, but the movie doesn't even try to at least, make us see what exactly is the problem between the two right now about this. But again, it goes back to what I keep saying. This is just an excuse for more card games, for the sake of promoting the 4 cards that come with the movie. Wait.
I guess.
Okay. Writers, 4 kids. Go check the anime again. Whenever they're talking to each other, they're always inside the labyrinthic puzzle thingy. That arena with. That area with lots of passages and shit. They're never in a dark void.
Sorry, man. We had to fund like 30 other licenses this time. We couldn't afford to put in pyramid stuff. Remember, they were doing One Piece at this time.
It looks like they're in the Shadow Realm. Yeah. Wow. Seriously, in terms of
Even the
Yu-Gi-Oh,
transformation effect is lame.
yeah, it is. I was about to say that as well. That was lame.
I thought this had a bigger budget.
It did, but apparently that's just the thing, Debs. The animators are just as unmotivated as the writers. Like this whole thing is nothing but a promotion for cards. It's a soulless commercial. The animators were just collecting their paychecks basically.
And so,
The
meanwhile,
soundtrack.
his discounts on 41 music.
The soundtrack in this movie is so cheesy that it actually bypasses infinity and comes out to become something awesome.
I promise you it'll be different this time.
Oh my god, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Online, no! Basically, everybody, before Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelists, and that game is awesome. However, back in the day we had Yu-Gi-Oh! Online, and let's just say it was terrible.
Yeah, it's a good job he knows the way is right on the buttons. What if he presses the self-destruct or something?
Now allow me to take yet another one of my favorite lines from LittleKuriboh for this parody of this. Kaiba and Yugi are dueling. What a refreshing concept for this movie. Because that almost never happens.
I'd wish one of the other main characters had dueled Kaiba or something.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We're so even by this point, like even back in 2004, the whole Yugi versus Kyle thing was getting tiring.
Yeah, I know it's an iconic thing, but
Yeah, at
Only
this,
so much you can do it. I mean, really, okay. If they were gonna do this, they could have at least saved this for more near the end. Then again, considering what the ending is, I might have screwed with it, so... Ugh.
yeah. Let's just say, Dwebs, the ending of this movie is such a big what the fuck the writers weren't even caring kind of thing.
I'll put it like this. It was a lot better in the Battle City tournament when they had Kaiba be the penultimate final battle of that season.
I agree.
I know they're online. I've seen it.
Hey Kaiba, don't you have a company to run? Don't you think maybe you
oh,
need to, you know...
don't you see, Pedro? He just leaves it in the hands of Mokuba when he's away.
Yeah, because it's
your 10-year-old brother.
Well, something must work because it still makes a bajillion load of money.
But this is the thing. As far as we can tell, Kaiba is the only game company in this. Sorry, Kaiba Corp is the only game company in this world. It's not like we ever see any other game company in this universe. So as far as I can tell, Kaiba has the monopoly on this industry.
Yeah, we see more in GX, but I see your point.
If they ever make another Yu-Gi-Oh movie,
Oh, this was
that should
before
be the
GX,
plot.
so
That should be the plot. If they make another Yu-Gi-Oh movie, a competitor of Kaiba comes up out of nowhere and starts stealing his thunder, so Kaiba has to try and stop him, and eventually later on, he proves that company's been embezzling funds and stuff.
Hey Tristan, are you actually going to do something for a change?
No, I'm just gonna cheer here.
All right then.
Now remember, he's got his non-weirdy voice.
Yeah, sorry, he doesn't have his voice, his classic Sun Regal voice, so now he doesn't no longer has super strength. Oh.
Why
But,
doesn't
yeah,
he?
that,
Oh, I guess he
that
doesn't have
honor now belongs
polymerization.
to,
Yeah.
I know, right?
That belongs to Nicky Boy.
The Pyramid of Light. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what's the effect of that card? It removes from play every single Egyptian god monster on the field. Which is, of course, useless because the Egyptian god cards are forbidden.
So essentially, in competitive play, that card is completely useless.
Maybe it could be a good collector's item.
Yeah, it is. My problem with it is that I really don't like the way Konami's managing the card game in general. They completely like the whole, forbidding cards that didn't need to be forbidding, limiting cards that didn't need to be limited.
Depends, Pedro, because again, you need to reason with how the competitive play works on a global level. You know.
I know.
So obviously, you're seeing this card by what they represented and the impact they had. But it's just your point of view. You have to think for Konami has to think for everyone. Despite how much dickish they are, we need to take effect the most of it. Despite how many. Of course, I may not agree with some of them, but at least I know that there needs to be balance, and not everything must be permitted.
Alright, let me explain this for those. Obligatory summon forces it forces Yugi to summon every monster of the same category, which Slifer's category is gods, so obviously he has to summon the other two gods.
Now, funnily enough, Pyramid of Light actually does have a real-life card counterpart, which is unlimited.
Also, it's funny because Kaiba doesn't really... Well, I think at least with Obelisk, I guess, but with the other two god cards, he doesn't really need Pyramid of Light. He just needs Reflective Force, I think, in order to counter that effectively.
For me, it's like this too. When you remove cards like Monster Reborn and Raigeki, I mean, at this point, the card game is unrecognizable to me.
Not really. Again, as I mentioned in the other games. No, I mean, that's the thing, Pedro.
Let's see a finish.
There are alternatives, but just as I mentioned, if you have alternatives at this point, just might as well the original. My best compromise that I would have is just to not ban, just limit the most powerful at the most possible, like having only one of them.
So yeah, like he said, now...
Why did that thing there have a smiley face?
Which one?
Which one?
That bit where the light was coming from had a smiley face for some reason.
What?
Bad animation. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, the pyramid will remove all 3 gods from play. Well, for those who don't know, remove from play means it's not grave. It's even beyond graveyard. It literally gets removed from play. Now, technically, you can still bring back cards that were removed from play if you use cards like Return from the Different Dimension.
Actually, just hold on.
No, don't touch it.
Well, actually, I have my personal deck that I actually used
No,
back in the day.
I know. Oh, there we go. That's what he's doing. Oh, it acts as a barrier representation. Okay.
Yeah, and for some reason, the Pyramid of Light card also fucks up the puzzle or
Well,
Oh no,
crud.
is it trapped inside the Millennium Puzzle?
That's usually supposed to be the Pharaoh's home, dang it.
Telling me.
Lamp shading.
Why isn't Nubis even dragging these two into this? What does he need them for?
I guess every soul counts.
Yes,
Well done, Kai, but you're
You
sucking
fucked
the
up.
entire world into the eye.
You done goofed.
yeah, and now everything starts falling apart. Jesus Christ, this building is fragile as fuck.
Kaiba needs to hire better constructors.
I mean, yeah, I get that the ground shook a bit, but seriously, this doesn't seem like a very well constructed dome.
I had kind of this is the actually unscripted
Oh,
sequel
look
to
everybody! Hey,
Title.
look at it's the blue light into a pearl in the sky. There you go. This movie did it before Marvel did it.
So essentially, Marvel is now the original.
Oh, you
Dibs, considering all of their movies are adapted from comics, they were never original to begin with. So
It's another even more an original.
Wow, what do you expect, Wibs? It's literally adaptation.
So,
But
Yugi,
this
what are you
is-
gonna do now?
Is this the plot? Just watching him try and escape the zone?
yeah, this is the plot. Yeah.
Well, this plus the duel going on still with Kaiba.
A labyrinth. Yu-Gi-Oh!
Sadly, there's no. Oh god, I forgot the name.
See,
I hate when this happens. Go ahead, Pedro. I'll
see,
think it.
this place is where both Yugi and Yami should have been talking. This place right here. So you know this place, guys.
Oh,
So
crap.
what?
There we go,
In
Dweebs.
my
There we go, Dweebs. Too bad there's no David Bowie with a gigantic crotch singing in the background.
Well, I haven't seen Labyrinth, so...
You should, Dweebs. I think you may
It's
find
actually
some
really
kind of enjoyment.
it's really fun and cheesy.
Yeah, if Shady could not get into this, you have no chance.
Come on!
Dun, dun, dun.
All right.
So, you cause a great big hole in the dome, and Grandpa and Taya are just spectators.
Oh, don't worry.
So Kaiba is a Hollywood 80s, like Kevin not dead.
Not just that, Kaiba. That happens all the time in Final Fantasy games, so it's not like it's uncommon.
Well, the god's letting him down.
The gods always let everybody down in Final Fantasy, except for maybe the 15 universe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Cloud?
Dark Clown. Pet in the Dark Clown. Basically,
Who's a Dark Cloud?
it's a different take on the Sagi the Dark Clown card. Except this one can attack directly, or I think.
Yeah, the trade-off is that he has a miserable attack, attack level, so...
Also, I love that they were trying to be edgy with the violence and blood out there, but of course it was all shadow, because, can't have it.
Yeah, whatever. Having it in shadow.
Yeah,
is
this
still
card right here. This card right here. This is not the Dark Magician girl. It looks exactly like the Dark Magician, but it's called Magician Valkyria, and he never uses this card outside of this movie. So I'm pretty sure this card was made up for this movie.
Hold
Probably.
on. Let me look it up just to be safe.
After this movie,
Wait,
he
doesn't the
he
Deck
lost
Destruction
card and,
Virus card should have a different image?
Well, Well, to be fair, there are cards that have different illustrations, like polymerization has 2 different illustrations.
It does? I forgot.
It does, actually. Let me show you.
I've seen enough in Thai to see where this is going. Oh no, my card deck has diarrhea.
Sorry, Pedro. Magician's Valkyrie actually is a real card.
Well, maybe it was made specifically because of this movie. I don't know.
Nope, made before.
What
Okay.
year?
2000. Come on, where can I find the year on this thing?
There you go, Theo. This was the original illustration for polymerization.
Oh, right, I forgot. And you know,
how-
the new one is the other swirling.
Yeah. So
Alright.
to be fair, there have been plenty of cards with alternate illustrations, so
Sure.
this is considered.
Oh, ritual monsters. Never seen those in a while.
A monster for attacking instead of sacrificing it for the sake of a blue eyes white dragon. Usually the only purpose of that monster is just to summon the blue eyes faster.
Because.
Because of the pyramid of life. Basically, it was Anubis altered the duels to a kind of pseudo shadow game where every life point means you lose life force from your body, basically.
So if you lose the duel, you lose your
You-
life.
You
Yes,
die.
if
There
you
you
die
go,
in
Dwight.
the game,
There
you
you go,
die in
Dwight.
real life.
You said you always wanted to see a Yu-Gi-Oh show or movie do this. Well, there you go. 4 kids did it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well done. I figured if please have introduced this plot earlier, I would have cared.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. Again, I'm not going to do a tangent about this, but one of the reasons why I didn't like the new movie is because, unlike this movie, which was always blatantly a commercial for cards, that movie actually clearly tried to make me care, and it failed, so it made me a bit more apathetic towards it. Whereas this movie, I went into it already knowing that this was going to be a piece of crap. That didn't even try, so I was much more, let's say.
Yeah, I
Don't
don't,
get me wrong.
I don't
This
really
movie's
like
worse.
not
Don't get me wrong.
trying.
This movie is. I'm not saying that new movie is. This movie is far worse. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that in terms of expectations, the new movie disappointed me. This movie didn't. That's basically what I'm trying to get.
So are we in Miracle Mask now?
I
not.
guess. Sorry, Tail. No fun puzzles here.
Oh,
And besides, this
that face
besides,
though.
and besides besides this is probably going to end just as obviously as Miracle Mask anyway. So
Run away! Run away!
Yeah, this movie does have a couple of funny moments, like the one with Yugi running away, going ah. It's a blue pyramid tail.
Yeah.
Well, look at the bright side, Moku, but at least you weren't kidnapped this time around.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting thing. This is Mokuba actually has managed to spend this entire movie without being kidnapped. It's a new record for him.
I think he even gets kidnapped in the new movie.
No, we get like a bait and switch moment where he's fleeing with the helicopter and the villain tries to attack him, but he doesn't kidnap him.
But it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Of course.
Why are you gonna do that? Chainsaw a hole through it?
You're gonna sacrifice 100 life points for that. Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah,
see,
There you go, Paige.
see, Paige, they do pay attention.
Just in case, because you know a lot of times they don't.
That is one thing I will give credit to this movie. It actually does a better job paying attention to the rules. My guess is that they have no choice because the writing's actually on the cards this time.
Yeah. That's kind of sad. The fact that 4 kids actually knows the rules better than the actual writers. Oh great, this card again.
It's a trap. Because why not?
Yeah, this card is broken as all hell. Like, seriously?
No, not the Dark Magician Girl. Also, nice image. The Dark Magician Girl suffering while tentacle-like
Yeah,
beings were attacking the deck.
You know what's also interesting? Kaiba already sent 20 cards of Yugi's deck straight to the graveyard, and yet miraculously he still has all the cards he's gonna need to end this duel.
Because of course, Pedro. Why would you want any differently?
I know, but still, it's like this when they do this kind of shtick where they remove 20 cards from the deck, like it becomes even
They
more
must
blatant.
mean it, yeah.
You know.
We mean it this time, we swear.
You know, there's an episode in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX that actually does this whole sort of ploy a lot better. It's the one where Jaden's going up against, I forget if that was the one with the...
If you want something different, Jova, especially because, once again, just not talking about the GX, as I mentioned briefly, even 5Ds does something like that. There is a villain that tries to defeat Yusei by making all these cards go away, but he survives literally at the last second.
Well, I was talking about Unico stuff that did absolutely
it's the
good.
invisible Pedro. Look at the eye. No? Oh.
Symbolism, I guess. It's it's symbolic of money, the money that the corporate suits were thinking about making with this.
That's out of left field.
It's metaphorical.
Well, by all means, Jove, interpret that better.
I guess it's to show the clash of the two different powers of light and darkness.
Oh, of course. This, to quote LittleKuriboh again, this is like something out of a bad fanfic.
Yeah, generic opening is generic.
You think?
Man, come on. By the way, who's voicing Anubis?
I don't know, but is that actual Egyptian?
I don't know.
His dialect just now, was that actual Egyptian? Please tell us in the comments, audience.
Especially because it would be interesting to see if 4Kids would have dared to be racist enough to actually fake out actually Egyptian language.
It can be that hard to get an Egyptian guy to come in and record a couple lines.
But for 4Kids,
I don't know. I mean, 4Kids have done a lot of shady stuff, but flat out racist.
It's not mean to be shady, Jova. It's just to be actually ignorant and just go with the things you go, like just go on the spot.
I'm not quite sure that they've ever gone so far as to actually fake, a real language.
Like, for example, one of the songs from Moana is actually sung in actual Polynesian, and they actually got not just a Polynesian songwriter to help write it, but the singers are actually Polynesian themselves, so it's completely legit there.
Because
That's
of
nice.
course. We gotta need that
Well,
rivalry between Blue
Well,
Eyes
to be
White
fair,
Tiger.
that actually is a thing. In fact, all the cards in here are kind of...
I know. I'm just baffled about the fact that Yugi is still relying so much on Dark Magician. Oh, there you go.
Now remember the story justification for it. We all know.
I know. We already talked, I guess.
Kind of like remember, Teo, it's destiny.
Yeah, I know. Urgh. My God.
Thanks for stating the obvious,
That
Kaba.
face, though.
Kids can do the math for kids.
It's a simple fireball, really. You wanted to do this majestic attack and you use a simple fireball.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Teo, Blue Eyes Shining Dragon's attack actually kind of looks cool.
Now I know, but here's the thing: Yugi has this moment. Oh my god, this build-up thing. Everything.
It's great. It's like he's literally talking through his teeth. Oh,
Oh, no.
I don't have any monsters to
Actually, I think he was
sacrifice.
just thinking to himself or something.
He was thinking to himself during that part, actually.
Well, there's no echo filter in his voice, so it kind of, you know, when a character is thinking, there's this echoey filter to the voice, you know. But there wasn't none of that there.
I think, well, it also depends on the author. I think it never was shown anything, at least for this movie, so I don't know if it was that intention or not.
Blah blah blah. Card games. Blah.
What?
What?
Oh, there it is.
There you go. Please buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards today.
Buy our toys. Buy our toys.
Well, actually, in this case, it's buy our cards.
Those two.
Yeah, essentially the prototype of the Cyber
Okay,
Dragon.
okay. I will give it that. The design actually does look kind of cool. The problem is that, okay, basically, this iteration of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, is basically broken as all hell. It literally has, not only does it get attack power from every dragon in the graveyard, which, remember, you have to sacrifice 4 dragons to summon it. It basically says, it automatically bumps it up to the same power as the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Also, it has the power where if you sacrifice a card from your hand, you can literally remove from play any card on the field.
To be fair, that's also what the envoys are for. However, I think the catch is like, well, if you use the removal effect, you can't attack on the same turn.
So this one. Apparently the duelist gets to choose which cards can be used against the Shining Dragon deck, because that's not broken at all, is it? So basically what you're telling me is that this is the I make the rules now cards, basically.
Yeah. It's similar to the little cheating card in Munchkin. So how would Yugi get out of this one?
I wonder if he's gonna pull out a card at the last moment thanks to the heart of the cards and then win this miraculously.
It would be really funny if they just gave a throwback to season 1. It just throws the Arrow of Light out of nowhere. I'm evil.
I drew the Arrow of Light, and for this particular duel, the Arrow of Light automatically gives me victory, because why not? Well, why not? Every single time he uses it in the anime, it has a completely different effect, so might as well.
I'm surprised you don't just say, now I will make a new card. Automatic victory. Every time I pull this card, I win the duel.
Well, that's kind of what Exodia is, but yeah.
Yeah, there are actually some automatic win cards, but
And Destiny
usually they
board.
require certain ones.
Destiny board, for example.
And a card called Countdown, I believe.
Countdown to what? Final Crisis?
No.
Or the UK Countdown game show?
Alright, and everything's falling apart. Clue in that Power Man 5000 song. Everything's falling apart.
Hi, Pegasus. Also, another thing, got a
Oh, that's another thing, by the way, that I'd like to mention, and we'll hear it in the
go ahead.
credits. Guess who they got to do a song for this movie, by the way, too? You know how the second Pokemon movie got Donna Summer to make a song for it?
And Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah. This movie got Black Eyed Peas, remember them?
What?
Really?
Yes.
The guys who ruined the time of my life.
Yes.
Oh, God.
The Black Eyed Peas actually were hired to make a song for this movie, believe it or not. You see, everybody, back in the... For those who are young, might be a bit young
In
too.
the early 2000s, approximately, there was this group, very weird to be honest, called the Black Eyed Peas, who were specialized in ruining popular songs,
Basically.
like
Making their own.
Musketeers.
Or making
Yeah.
their own generic pop
Well, they
songs.
made some of their own, but a lot of their songs were just bad covers of others like Mashkenada.
Remember, they were popular at the time, so we needed someone to help promote the movie.
Yeah, but I might as well would have gone with Linkin Park.
That's why I actually kind of like "You're Not Me" and "One Card Short" because those were actually sung by not popular singers, and at the very least, those songs actually feel like they belong in Yu-Gi-Oh. Whereas the other songs, like the one from Black Eyed Peas, it's just put there for the sake of marketing.
Yeah.
You were saying?
Jinx. You owe me a soda now, Jova.
Stiffs.
Yeah,
Stiffs.
stiffs.
Get
That's a
it?
term for
Because
the
they're
dead.
Huh?
What jokes for a thing for a while?
Rigor mortis.
Let me
Oh, yeah,
check who's voicing
Oh,
the
yeah.
movies.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about this. Basically,
Wow,
telling this backstory.
This film's horrifically lame.
Yeah, trust me, dudes, you haven't even seen the half of it. Fun fact: that scene that we just saw, where we saw a flashback of him doing various bad things over the course of those 5,000 years, that's actually an extra scene that was added into the DVD. It was not in the original theatrical cut.
Because that fixes everything.
I guess it gives a bit more context than the newbies, but at this point, nobody cares anymore. It's too little, too late. We're literally 2/3 into this movie by now, so. Yes,
Ooh.
power of friendship.
Hold on,
Oh,
hold
that's
on,
right.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. That wasn't a point to talk about the power of friendship. He was simply. Oh, wait.
Friendship trigger Taya or something now.
Oh my god, Pedro, you're losing a sense of when they actually say friendship now.
Must get friends.
Not just that, I love LittleKuriboh's joke for this particular scene. I can't hold back. I must be with Yugi. For God's sake, woman, can't you hold your hormones for more than 10 seconds?
And down goes the
I can't fucking believe Taya is dead or something.
I don't.
Eh?
There you go.
There we go. There we go.
The power of friendship compels.
Anubi is voiced
Okay,
by
now
a
you
guy-
can do it.
Anubis is voiced by a guy called Scott T. Ray. Never heard of him.
It's so.
They actually made a card about the friendship thing.
Yeah, they did actually.
So this is where the friendship spiel started.
Also, Tristan, why are you included in this? I mean, Joy is a sucky duelist, but at least he duels. You barely dueled in the entire show. I will devour your soul because I'm so generic.
I will destroy the world because raw.
To
Oh,
be
no.
fair, in the Egyptian mythology, Anubis is the god of the dead, so he's essentially being treated like Hollywood treats Hades in the Greek mythology. Really?
What?
That's another thing. Like LittleKuriboh said in the abridged parody, this scene is actually surprisingly kind of violent, as you're about to see.
Not just
Yes,
that.
we're going to literally beat the crap out of the mummies. I'm not even kidding.
Not just that. I know that Thea is studied to be about a dancer or something, but why is she able to... Oh
Like
god.
to see roundhouse kick people.
Jesus Christ.
Look
It's
at
the
all
same
those
with-
disintegrated
It's
guts
the same with
splaying
Marix
out.
destroying the robots in the virtual reality story arc. It's because they're
Jesus.
not human beings, so we can still be hardcore while being PG-13.
Yeah.
These, though, were human beings, so,
Well, actually, this particular movie, I believe, was rated G.
Ooh.
Well, why? 4 kids, you're getting risque.
Then again, this is the kind of movie where I'm pretty sure the MPAA, whenever they get a movie like this, they probably just kind of shrug it off because who cares? Like when it's something made by Pixar, obviously they're actually going to pay attention because they know there's going to be a lot of people watching. But when it comes to a movie like this, I'm pretty sure the MPAA is a bit more lenient.
Well, it's official. Kaiba is possessed by the devil.
well, the God of the Dead, but yeah,
Sort
basic,
of.
basic.
You barber sucks cocks in air.
For all intents and purposes, yeah, he's possessed by the
Oh,
devil.
here's another card that was heavily promoted, I think, with this movie. The
Big Shield Gardener?
yeah.
Not
Well,
really.
it was also
it?
well, okay. At least basically around this time there was released a catalog promoting also a couple of new decks that were released at the time, and there were a collection of all the cards more promoted with this particular movie. There were, I think there is a variant to the standard Big Shield Guardian. There were also the variant of Celtic Guardian. The Cyber Dragon, the Sphinx cards, the Pyramid of Light itself. So there were a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
No, not that.
Oh my god, get the fuck over it.
Not just that. Usually, the standard Yu-Gi-Oh story arc of movie has the characters. Oh, goody pot of greed. I wonder what effect does it have. Anyway, usually a story arc of Yu-Gi-Oh has the characters go away. Oh God, what a fun! Really?
Yep.
Usually they move to somewhere else. There you go. These two were also promoted, Watapon and the Celtic Guardian. But here in this movie, the characters barely move at all from one location to the other. Like half of the movie is literally centered in this dome that Kaiba set up.
Yeah. And like I said, the plot is nothing but a justification for card games. Like they're not even trying to.
There is the still be while still having the characters move around. Like for all the season, the Orichalco season at least had the characters move around from one place to the other. At least that.
Yeah, not just that. For as many problems as the Orichalco season had, at the very least, that season actually tried something different.
Although it failed a bit miserably with his morals.
It did, but then again, I don't expect good storytelling from Yu-Gi-Oh! So I was at the very least happy that they were at the very least trying something different for a change.
And from what I heard, it was an anime exclusive season. It wasn't actually like in the manga or anything. So. And
ironically, it was actually one of my favorites. Like I said, if anything, because at the very least it tried something different instead of the generic. Oh, there's an evil person trying to destroy the world for no reason. At the very least, the villain and the overall storyline, that it was at least there was an actual attempt at somehow making it not as black and white as it usually is.
A perfect victory.
So yeah, once again, Kaibo's Is there anything that this card cannot do? The Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, I mean. Seriously, that card is the most broken of cards ever. Because he wants a perfect fit. He wants to humiliate Yugi by defeating him with his own Egyptian god cards.
Of course.
So he's going to take the Egyptian gods for himself.
I'm sure this will not backfire at all. Jesus, this music. This time trying way too hard.
However, here's a problem. Anubis doesn't want this, so he will not allow this.
Denied.
Denied, yeah, basically. To meet the climax of this movie. If you thought the movie was bad before, hold that thought, because this is where the movie officially goes down the shitter.
He gets defeated by the power of friendship.
Not just that, but well, that's usually business as usual. Oh, that's right, naked man behind you. Get out!
What the fuck?
Right?
Can't fucking believe Kaiba is dead. Also, the guy is naked.
He's getting defeated by a Dragon Ball Z character.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay, Dwebs, I want you to take a guess. The Egyptian Lord of the Dead, Anubis, after 5,000 years of being quote-unquote dead, has finally managed to return, try to take revenge on who imprisoned him all those years ago. Guess how? What? Guess how he's gonna try to take revenge on the Pharaoh. Nope. Come on, Blitz. It's Yu-Gi-Oh. You know the answer.
Children's card game.
There you go.
Basically,
Hey, what do I win?
The ability to still watch this movie.
Fuck.
Yeah. What? Yeah, I don't care. Move on. This guy is seriously. This is generic
So
villain 101.
What make it better is if the Daleks suddenly appeared and go, "You will be exterminated, but let's play our children's card."
They gotta make him intimidating by giving him that design, and that design kind of that's an interesting thing, Teo. His design kind of looks like the Ultimate Warrior from his comic.
Yeah, kind of.
Um,
you see,
the power
Pharaoh,
of
I will destroy you. Yeah, with the power of destrucity.
That would actually be kind of cool if they got the Ultimate Warrior to face Yugi in a card game. Anyway, yeah, they try to make him intimidating by giving him that design,
Oh,
and of
here
course
are the
giving him
Sphinx.
these Phoenix monsters and shit, and giving him that scary voice. But nobody cares. Nobody's actually intimidated, not even little kids, because by this point, I'm pretty sure even the kids are snoring.
So also keep in mind, in fact, Yugi has to still duel against this guy with still 200 life points and with barely any cards left in his deck. How we will get out of this one?
No, to quote LittleKuriboh again, no fair. You can play more than one card in one turn. Sorry, more than one
Jesus
monster card in one
Christ.
turn.
Screw the rules. I'm a noob.
wow, crud.
Again, to quote Tristan from the abridged, doesn't anybody in this show know the rules to this game?
No, poor Watapon.
Special effects.
Oh, shut up, warrior.
Also, why does he have those canine teeth?
And guess what? He's just as obnoxiously talkative as the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, but this guy just talks. Ultimate Warrior rambles.
Yeah.
So, Yugi, you need a decisive card for this. Don't tell me it's Kuriboh.
The Fusion Wave Motion and Exchange. Those are all the cards he has.
Huh,
So,
so
yeah, maybe
he
one.
what do you know? He doesn't just
Go.
pull a lucky card right out of his rear.
There's also another problem. While the Pyramid of Light is in play, Anubis has ultimate power and you can basically break the game. Oh, yeah, it's just like in Shadow of the Colossus. Go ahead, throw the dagger at it. Very good, Yugi. Very
Okay,
good. You
how-
cracked the code.
Okay, how do you translate that? Yeah, sure you can.
This is the worst Shadow of the Colossus adaptation ever.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, that was legitimately fun. Oh,
And
it
guess
actually
what?
works.
And it
Yeah.
works. Sure.
Reality and shoes. There's no way a guy like Yugi's gonna be an accurate thrower, is he?
So yeah, that spell allows him to sacrifice a magic card, which and now he gets to use the last spell card. The last card used by Kaiba.
He steals Kaiba's card.
And the last card he had was Monster Reborn. So
Of course, he's gonna use Kaiba's best card, just like in the virtual reality tournament thing. No,
you
or
like
actually,
if I borrow
it
your
was-
card,
actually-
Kaiba? Thank you.
or it was actually against Ishtar Marek. I forgot.
I don't remember. The pyramid of light!
Yeah, if I recall, the Sphinx monster actually has a bonus effect if Pyramid of Light is on the field.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised.
I think
I'm
it's
actually
actually when the both of them are on that you can use Pyramid of Light to remove stuff from play.
I'm actually wondering if Don Green ever lost his voice from screaming so much as the Pharaoh.
Maybe he got throat injuries like Liam O'Brien while watching Azra.
Most likely.
So did he
Well,
won?
apparently Dan Green's at London Comic Con.
The big master of that art is I forgot, I can't pronounce her name, but the Japanese actress who plays Goku. She's been screaming Kamehameha for how many years now? Like 30, 40? Seriously, that woman is a fucking goddess. Like, see, the fact that she can still come in and voice Goku and scream her lungs out and she's still fine, that's awesome.
We did it with the power of friendship. All right, the Great Sphinx.
Sorry, dude, you're not intimidating at all. Ha 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 ha.
Oh yeah, I remember that card. Used to do well back in Gen 1.
Your clan is weak and silly while mine is strong. Well, you have sacrificed story content for mindless violence and lack of structure. Oh yeah? Let's fight! My clan has won, and you can too if you go to the store and buy our toys. Buy our toys.
Jesus Christ, 35,000 attack points.
Well, actually, this is nothing. We saw a monster with infinite attack points earlier.
He has a point there too.
True, but for the sake of Beast Wall, you know.
Yeah, fair point.
So why doesn't this one have infinite attack points too? There's no way he could be better.
Dwibs. You can't just have infinite attack points willy-nilly in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Even Anubis Jover, he's like Jesus in this show, isn't he?
No,
Actually,
No.
the best counterpart will be Hades in the Greek mythology or the devil.
Not to mention this, remember, you have to persist. You have to let the pain persist and not desist. That's what takes to be infinite.
Yeah, I guess.
Of course, he's gonna use the free Egyptian god cards to defeat him.
Well, it's the only way he has to do it at this point.
Why not just use something like
Mega
Blackluster
Ultra
Soldier with
Chicken.
an equip card?
Well, remember, Joe, but the last card he was able to play was Return from a Different
Oh
Dimension.
wait, that's right. Most cards are out of his deck.
Going
Lava.
I guess to make the background look cooler, I guess.
Oh, in Phoenix mode, yeah.
No fair. You can't attack with free monsters in. Well, actually, I guess technically you can.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Yeah, you can.
Never mind.
Bye.
No! Nobody will ever remember me.
Sorry, dude.
You know, I just realized this is probably one of the most times that the Pharaohs actually played pretty much to the card game rules on a D.
And that's, again, it's sad that it had to be 4 kids of all companies to finally get the rules right in one of these duels.
And the Pyramid of Light is no more.
Well, that happened.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's basically this movie in a nutshell. That happened.
So, what was that marble thing?
Don't worry, Tim, we're gonna explain.
Kaiba, are you still
It's
alive?
Kaiba's. That basically, guys, that's Kaiba's marbles. He lost them.
Yes,
Well-
Kaiba, we love you too.
Question, Tim, is this your first time at watching this movie?
In its entirety, yes.
Yeah, it's
okay.
mine. It's mine too. It's mine too.
So, guys, what did you learn?
Destroying everything once you defeat a villain.
Yu-Gi-Oh's a bloody clusterfuck.
I mean, even the
Oh god, we're still going.
Even
Yes.
the Pokemon movies, at the very least, try to have some kind of moral. Yeah, most of the time is bullshit, but at the very least, they try to have a point.
Oh, and that's the Jackal, Anubis
Oh, we
animal.
were done already.
Some of them, mind you, some of them.
Jeez.
A lot of them are just waste like this one is.
Jesus, another Dark Side of Dimensions film is longer than this, but that was more entertaining than this one.
Dark Side of
Actually,
Dimensions remembers to actually keep the pacing within its point, whereas this one, yeah, this one just kind of lost itself.
No, this.
Oh wait, hold on. I think they're about to do the song. Oh wait, no, shoot, he just.
No, not yet, not yet.
Oh, so basically they're basically doing a very small section of what will happen at the end of your Recalco season.
Basically, Anubis decided, haha. However, this time this is not a duel. This time I'm a real monster and shit because apparently Anubis can just turn into this thing. Whatever.
Why didn't he
It's
do
just
this earlier?
He didn't have enough power yet.
Or it wasn't forced to do so, I guess.
That
He
too.
that Dwebs, and remember, the rule of Yu-Gi-Oh is that before you can do anything, you first need to try beating a children's card game. Only if that fails can you try other options.
Also, once again, these supposed holograms are actually doing something.
Well, actually, in this particular instance, it's legit because they specifically said earlier. We talked over it, but basically, they specifically said the monster. Let's see what happens when you. Let's see how you deal with it when the monsters are actually real. So this time, this is actually not a hologram. So this is legit.
I wonder if this is
Jesus
where
Christ,
Kaiba gets the
Anubis.
inspiration, where his tech gets as good as it does in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Jesus Christ on the bike.
It's literally just that design is
It's
so
generic,
terrible.
yeah.
Not just that design is trying way too hard to be cool with like the big axe thing that just grew. Like it's it's like the kind of thing that you'd see on the internet from some shitty artist who's trying so hard
Original
to be
monster,
cool.
do not steal.
Yeah, basically. Like, see, look at the artists of this movie. Their idea of cool is bland beyond recognition. There you go. There's the main American theme. Sort of.
Yeah. Again, Dark World, the English version of Dark
So
Side
the
Dimensions.
card who saves the day is Blue Eyes Shining Dragon.
Remember, it has the effect of removing anything
yeah.
from play. So they literally remove Anubis from existence.
Bye.
See ya.
Well, that was a pointless addition to the climax that didn't need to be there.
Say hello to Bakura when you see him, because at this point he has been banished.
Well, actually, remember the tale. We established at the end of the Battle City season that Bakura came back because of Merrick's defeat.
I got better.
True.
He got better. Yeah, like Dweb said.
Jesus Christ.
You must
Why
be a
did
witch.
how did 4 kids get away
no
with the
use. But why can't I defeat you?
How did 4 kids went away with the whole
Because
melting
they're
thing?
Yu-Gi heroes.
And there we go.
Oh
That growl
my!
was terrible, and you should feel bad for thinking that was cool. Oh, good.
Well,
Oh, look at that.
that happened.
Mokuba is caring about his brother.
yeah, repairing this building is probably just going to be chump change to Kaiba.
Don't worry, Dwebs. Not after this, we get into the Orikaka season, and we can just pretend that this movie never happened. That's
Yeah.
literally what the anime does. So. Thank you.
Sure, keep
Sure,
believing
yeah.
that, Kaiba. And keep believing you're a psychopath. Sure you will.
And again. And again.
See what I mean?
And again.
Mokuba. See what I mean? Mokuba was completely pointless in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Hell, Taya did more than he did.
Yeah.
Hold on. Friendship speech. There you go. That's the moral, apparently. Okay.
Have
Here's
friends, you fucks.
here's
Well,
the.
he's not entirely wrong, but he's just half-assed as a moral. He
Yeah.
needs to be
Yeah.
completed.
The problem is that this movie wasn't even about French. It didn't tell any sort
And
of
it just
story.
ends like this.
And that's it.
I
Yeah.
want to remind everyone.
Wait, hold
that in
on,
the
hold on,
beginning-
hold on.
Hold on. I want to remind everyone that in the beginning we got cameos for Rex and Weevil and Mai, but not for Duke Delvin, which at this point had a bit more impact on the plot than the others.
Yeah, this is actually the main song that was made for this movie. One card short. The lyrics are actually very faithful to what the anime is. So listen. There you go.
Yes. Mike Pollock was in this.
Well, remember, Tale, 4 kids.
I know, but in this show particularly,
Oh,
voice,
Eric
just
Stewart did
voices.
the voice. Eric Stewart did the voice direction.
Mike Pollock in this particular show, he voices Yugi's grandpa's co-scientist, but he wasn't in this movie, as far as I recall.
Well, Mike Pollock has a lot of range, so you probably just didn't notice.
Yes,
Did,
as
Oh, and I
the-
think this is the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh,
song,
for
if I remember
God's sake,
correctly.
you really cut one card short in half to listen to this song.
Not black. You really? We couldn't just listen to the one card short, and we had to cut to the Black Eyed Peas. God fucking damn it.
No, yeah, I got it.
All right,
One
got
person,
it.
one. I got it. There was a big fight at 4 kids between someone who wanted to put the Black Eyed Peas song in the credits,
Let me just
and the other
finish.
one who wanted to put in, and the other one who wanted to put in one card short. So basically, the chairman said, "Okay, we'll split it in half, and we'll put both in. All right, now shut up already."
Let me just finish my earlier thought. See, here's the thing. The reason the friendship speech at the end of Miracle Mask worked is because the actual plot of the game was actually about that particular theme in general. Whereas this literally they just literally shoved the friendship speech at the end, as in I guess as if this movie was even about anything.
Not just
So,
that,
yeah,
Pedro, as I mentioned, is more generic than everything. A friendship speech can be done right, just as you mentioned, but needs to be elaborated. Again, the best compromise is essentially both what Kaiba said and what Yugi said. Victory still is important, but it's also important to share it with others.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, that was Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie, The Pyramid of Light.
Pointless.
Dwebs,
Okay,
you
before-
start.
Forget my final thoughts. I need to ask something. Is there a post-credit
No.
scene?
Nick
Okay.
Fury will ask Kaiba to join the Avengers, yeah.
No, I've already got my own company, you pleb. But yeah, as for my final thought, yeah, I'll definitely take Dark Side of Dimensions over this one because at least that one tried to have a plot. This one's just all over the place. It has a shitty villain. I can't even tell you what the plot is. Just some random arsehole comes out from the past and destroys everything, but then gets defeated. And then I mention that he's a lame villain.
Here's what this movie was
The
about,
end.
Dwebs. Pointless bickering.
Actually, surprisingly, there wasn't that
I
much
think it was-
bickering,
Just-
honestly.
I don't
Yeah,
think
not
there's
just
really
that.
much bickering.
It's an hyperbole.
Well, honestly, I didn't even
And-
really see that much
sorry.
bickering. I mean, yeah, there wasn't much point to it, but I wouldn't say it was
No,
rife with
great.
bickering. That's more
Great.
so fair
Fine.
terms of reference
Pointless,
problem.
pointless talking.
Not just
No, now
that.
you got-
go
Pedro,
ahead,
now
Luis.
you've got me imagining a Yu-Gi-Oh film written by Aaron Sorkin. That the critics will have liked that then, surely.
Not just that, as I mentioned, the movie is
But,
not
yeah,
even
you
about that
Otto.
much. Yeah.
Are you done, Dwebs?
Oh, sorry.
This movie sucks. I'll take Dimensions any day.
Go ahead, too.
This pointless. This movie is pointless. I mean, even for the things it presents, things go practically nowhere. Again, we spend literally half of the movie stuck in a single duel that goes on and on and on. I mean, to give another comparison, Dark Side of Dimension knew how to do things better because it has a bit more duels that are more bite-sized and they know how to balance things out. Here is just a duel that goes on forever to a point that Yugi practically loses almost all of his cards by the end. And again, the villain is inconsequential at all. And the plot is non-existent. It's just Kaiba wanting to challenge Yugi again. Okay, so he has a small duel with Pegasus. Then he challenges Yugi, and from that point on, the plot stops to a crawl until the very end when Anubis reveals for 5 minutes and gets defeated in a very humiliating way. Part of the plot, I guess, can be argued that is Yugi, Tristan, and Joy plus Taya at the end running around in the Millennium Puzzle and eventually defeating the Fate with the Dagger of Fate thing. But that one is completely pointed just to show some shenanigans. Yes, there are some funny scenes, but they don't distract enough to focus on the negative, which is prevalent throughout all the movie. So yeah, definitely a pointless experience and a very bad attempt to a long movie. But Dark Side of, as Luis mentioned, I will take Dark Side of Inventions any day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jova.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this movie is a very odd one. I don't find it like an abomination or anything, and I do feel that, it does its job as a commercial well. However, as a story, yeah, Dark Side of Dimension really beats the crap out of this movie. Okay, this movie, it has a point, but it constantly forgets it has a point, to the point where it lends itself to memeable jokes to be made about its very own existence. Like, honestly, Anubis, you were fine with that first phase. Why do you need to do it beyond the duel starting? And it just really doesn't make sense. Granted, it is nice that they pay more mind to the rules, but, well, that's not much when you compare it to the rest of the content. And there's quite a bit of noticeable filler that is not well done filler. I mean, now the music is pretty good, I like that. Some of the art style and direction is better. And, some plot points are interesting. However, it sort of just meanders by the end, and we're back to the usual status quo, and not in the good way, sadly.
Yeah, it's like a non-funny episode of South Park.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least the first couple of seasons, anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like the first season. There's a
That's what they mean, Pedro. A non-funny episode.
Oh, okay. Anyway, you done, Jova?
Yeah, basically, this movie is definitely fun to watch, but, speaking objectively about it, it ain't that good. Go see Dark Side of Dimensions if you're looking for an actual legit experience.
Yeah. As for me, just a quick tangent before I move on. It's again, going back to LittleKuriboh's parody of this movie, it basically boils down, it perfectly sums up that particular interaction that LittleKuriboh does when Anubis comes in. You said it took a long time. Who do you think you are, Venom? And then he's like, okay, it's so pleased to see you, my Pharaoh. And now that I'm finally here, I'm going to challenge you to a children's card game. Then I'll destroy the world. Why do you want to do that? What's the point in destroying the world? What do you gain from it? I don't understand the question. Well, look, you must have a reason, right? Otherwise, this whole movie was pointless bickering. There you go, Joe. That's where I took it from.
Yeah, I never got that joke because, well, the movie definitely had a lot of needless filler in it. I never got the point of it being pointless bickering.
Sure, yeah, if there's anything, Pedro, is the fact that most of the dialogue is them saying what the cards do.
What are you talking about, guys? Of course those pointless bickering between the writers.
Yeah, so you must have a reason, right? And then he's like, I do have a reason. Oh, goody. Do you mind sharing it with the class? No, it's a secret. You're the most disappointing movie villain since General Grievous. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, this movie is literally nothing but a fucking commercial for cards. And it's such a soulless movie. Like, there was absolutely no care put into this. The entire purpose of this movie was to promote cards and toys. Nothing else. There's, like Jova said, they do pay more attention to the rules. That's like the one positive I can give to the writing. The only one. Because the story is lazy beyond belief. The characterization... Yeah, well, I'm talking about the writing right now, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
The characterization, while... Well, yeah, 4Kids has been dubbing Yu-Gi-Oh for like 3 years at this point, so obviously they would know, at the very least, be able to know how to get the characterizations right. But they don't do anything with the character at all. Like I've said throughout the commentary, Mokuba has that brief moment where he says, "And Seto has been really different lately," and as in like maybe they're setting up something, but then it never goes anywhere. Like nothing gets accomplished with these characters. So yeah, it's nothing but a pointless meandering of nothing. And card game. But like Jova said, yeah, the music's awesome. The animation is it's both worse and better than the show, if that
yeah,
makes any
it flip,
sense.
Yeah.
flip flops constantly.
Agreed.
I like the coloring better because I never really cared so much for the drab color scheme that the anime uses. But, well, they do. Well, I guess technically they do get a bit better at that in the later seasons, I guess. But yeah, it's the animation is a mixed bag. So yeah, this movie is a piece of shit. Let's be honest. It's I mean, is it any wonder why this movie was critically panned? I mean, this movie is such a colossal waste of nothing. Even only the most desperate of Yu-Gi-Oh fans will find this even remotely a good movie. So yeah, that was the Yu-Gi-Oh movie, Period of the Lights. Tune in for when we do the 2010 movie for Bonds of Time. That's what the name
Bonds
is,
Beyond
right?
Time.
Bonds
Ooh,
Beyond
I
Time.
love
The crossover between the original series, GX, and Dark V.
Ooh, I
that
like
was
that
no,
one.
That was 5Ds, wasn't it?
Yeah, sorry, 5Ds, my bad, I got confused.
Fortunately, that one was actually made by the Japanese people, so that one actually tries a bit more than this. So tune in for
We'll
that.
see. See ya.
See ya.